Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to episode 2 in the new Fenton Forest 4X map with Seasons Let's Play series. In the first episode, we set about setting up the starting farm, getting all the buildings in place and stuff like that, and all the production buildings put in the map. So today we're going to be turning dirt for the first time in the series, as of course it is early spring, first day of spring, and of course with that, on any brand new game with seasons, means we're going to have to do a lot of ploughing. Now I've already got a worker going ahead. He's already done field 8 and he's put some nice rounded corners onto field 8 for me, and now he's working away on field 1. We're going to do fields 2, 3, 5, which I am actually going to leave a square, but then when I move down to 22, 23, 24, 26, those sorts of fields, I'm going to reshape these. I'm going to put my own custom edges on them because I don't want square fields all across the board. I want some better fields, basically. I want something a bit more interesting to farm. So they're going to get changed, and those 3 fields, 23, 24 and 26, may actually get merged into one field. So of course, to do that, we're obviously going to need a plough. So I've leased a couple of ploughs at the moment from the store. One of them, as I say, is in use over on field 1 with a worker, and I've got another one over here. I have also got rid of the large Fenton MT11 thingy tractor. That one, the 488 grand tractor, because I don't like tractors with tracks. They're a little bit awkward, and as I was trying to do the ploughing on field 8, trying to put a nice rounded edge on that field, it was very difficult to do so using the tractor because of the way they turn independent of whatever they've got attached on the back of them. So sold that, cashed it in, got my money back, and then invested in a Tri-6, which is about the same price. So like for like, about the same price. However, the Tri-6 obviously also has a lot more power, 1500 horsepower. And I also got one of the Fenton 1000F tractors as well. Only difference between that and the two 1050s we've already got is this one has some really seriously big flotation tyres with weights to give it ultimate traction and grip, which should mean when we come to do ploughing and stuff, it's going to be pretty impressive. And as I say, I've leased 2 ploughs at the moment because these are brand new mods I've never ever used before. So rather than spending money and finding out they don't work properly, like I had just earlier today on the old family farm map, where I bought a cultivator that doesn't cultivate properly, and I had to sell it, I figured I'd lease these, try them, make sure they actually plough properly, and then I will buy them if they work properly. From what I've seen so far, as I say, on fields 8 and fields 1, they do seem to work okay. But obviously I'm going to test them myself now, rather than letting workers and course play do it. So I'm going to plough this field, straight up and down field 2, nothing fancy. I'm then going to jump over and, as I say, start putting a bit of a custom edge, custom radius, custom shape on the other fields, using the create edges option. Now of course a lot of people will say, well, hang on a minute, why are you ploughing the fields first before you've lime spreaded and fertilised and stuff? Well, there's a simple reason for that. Normally you are correct, I would lime spread the fields before ploughing them all. However, because I'm going to be changing edges and putting new edges on fields and changing the shapes of fields, when you create fields and plough terrain and turn it into fields, that terrain always needs to be lime spreaded. So if I lime spread now, then plough, I'm going to have to lime spread again after I've ploughed to do the new bits of the fields, the new corners and stuff. So it doesn't make much sense to do it that way. So I figured this first year plough and reshape, resize all our fields first. Lime spread. Then we're going to fertilise. Then I'm going to cultivate to change the ground state again. And then we can do the seeding, and that will get the next stage of fertiliser going. So that should then bring all the fields up to 2-stage fertilisation. And then, of course, if we take advantage of the crop rotation planner and we plant the right crop on the field, depending obviously what was planted on these fields previously, we should find after seeding we hit 3-stage fertilising if we've done the correct sequence. As I say, normally what I've found from the multiplayer server that I play on every evening with Helgi and others, the County Lines map, is that with seasons, if you fertilise after you've harvested a crop, then plough, if you then seed with a seeder that does fertilising, obviously that's going to give you 2 stages of fertilisation, but if you follow the crop planner, crop rotation, and you plant the correct crop in the sequence, you get the bonus fertilisation, which brings it to 3 stages, which means you never have to fertilise or spray a crop whilst it's in growth. Once that seed goes in the ground, you don't have to touch that crop again, unless you get weeds. Unless you get some weeds or something appearing on your map, which, as yet, touch wood, touching wood, I've not experienced weeds yet on any of my maps, which is a bit weird. People will say that's very weird, but yeah, on county lines we've not had problems with weeds on our fields, and we are now, say, coming up to summer in year 2, so we didn't have any weeds in year 1. We've not had any weeds during the spring planting season, growing season in year 2. The AI gets weeds, and the AI can get weeds quite differently, and it varies quite a bit from field to field. Some fields have a couple of spots and a couple of patches of weeds on them. Other fields look like they've got like measles or chicken pox with the amount of dots and spots all over them, and some are much like the vanilla giants base game weed system, where the whole field is just blanketed pink in weeds. But as yet, I've not actually seen my own fields have any weed issues. Now maybe that's because we're hitting 3-stage fertilisation and all that, and we're doing everything properly, so we're not being punished, we're not skipping anything out, we're not, we are hitting everything perfectly as far as we can see with our planting and stuff. So maybe that's why we're not getting weeds, because the fields are being properly taken care of between harvest and seeding. But it's something, or it could be map dependent, I don't know. A map by map sort of thing, I don't know. And whether map authors have to change something in their maps to handle the weed system of seasons, I don't know. But we'll see. As I say, between County Lines, Old Family Farm, and now this map here, Fenton Forest, should be able to see what the weed system's like. But so far, I'm thinking the season's weeds definitely looks more promising and appealing than the giants' default behaviour of weeds, where literally the whole map gets covered at the same exact time every day, and the weeds start in the top left of the map, spiral all the way down to the bottom right hand corner. Definitely with seasons, weeds seem to be a lot more random of where they appear. They miss several fields and then appear on a field, and then they skip another few fields and then they appear. A lot more natural sort of behaviour, that, to me. But anyway, we're going to get the fields ploughed today, or as many of them as I can ploughed. There'll probably be some ploughing that runs into day 2 of seasons, day 2 of spring, which is not a problem. As I say, I am going to be using workers and courseplay in this series to assist me, because this is a big map and with big fields. So I can set them off to do some of the tasks, then whilst I go on and move on to like the lime spreading, the fertilising tasks. When it comes to fertilising, I will probably be purchasing and investing in a Fenton sprayer to go with the map and go with the theme of the vehicles on the map. For anyone wondering why I'm using a John Deere plough, but I'm using Fenton tractors, the reason I'm using Fenton tractors is A, German map, or German themed map, so it makes sense, use German equipment. Also, between obviously playing County Lines multiplayer, Old Family Farm, I'm already using lots of John Deere tractors on those two maps. I don't want to do a third map and a third video series where I'm using the exact same tractors, same equipment. And also, I do believe some of this equipment, like these ploughs that I'm pulling now, can't be pulled by the 8R. And because I don't like using the tracked tractors, so the 8RT, 9RT, 9RX, they're not really on my shopping list. They're not in my favoured sort of area. That is kind of why I'm sticking with the Fenton, because we've obviously got wheeled tractors, and obviously the Tri-6 is a beautiful, godly wheeled tractor. With its 1500 horsepower, it is a beast that can pull absolutely everything you want to throw at it. You know, so yeah, I'm going to be sticking with Fenton, so I'll probably end up getting a Fenton harvester when we come to harvest time on this map. As I say, Fenton sprayer. However, because obviously we're going to have to move quite quickly during the spring period, there will be some fields which are sprayed with chemical fertiliser. There are going to be some fields which are going to be manure spreaded, because I've got a manure spreader on the farm. And we've got slurry spreaders. We've got two slurry spreaders. We've got a great big ginormous one, and then we've got a smaller one as well. So we'll be fully utilising all of those prior to starting the seeding. Then when it comes to actually the seeding and planting, I haven't decided yet what seeders and planters and equipment I'm going to use. That is something I will look at in the store at that point. I was hoping to use some new like air cart things. However, the other day when I was doing some bug fixing and troubleshooting for the Courseplay devs, and obviously I was having to record a lot of stuff with debug channels enabled to produce extra information in the game's log file. It made it quite a bit more difficult, I won't lie, to sort things out that way. I noticed that the air seeders that I want to use, or kind of want to use, have issues with their wheels. They're throwing up a bit of an error in the log to do with the wheels. I'm not sure how that affects them actually being used, because I've not tried them yet. The first time I'm going to try them is on the Old Family Farm series. In the next episode I'll record that when I start seeding, so I'll find out if there's any issues with the mod then. If not, I'm sure I'll find something else to use on this map. Maybe a DB60 planter, possibly a 120 for the bigger fields, who knows. But yeah, looking at the map, there's a few weeds, little spots of weeds on some of the fields. Obviously, if you were like the owner of field 15 with that one spot of weeds, you probably wouldn't be that bothered about fixing that. You might just leave that altogether. Whereas obviously the owner of field 11, he's got a couple of patches of weeds on those fields, so he might want to get in there and attack those with a mechanical weeder of some description to remove them, if obviously growth permitting. The crop permits removing them with the weeder. And if you end up in a situation where obviously you've got a field that looks like it's got the measles, or it's completely pink, then you're going to need to get the herbicide out and spray it. But I love that Seasons gives you the option now, whereas before in the base game, your only real option was to spray herbicide, because the mechanical weeders were ineffective, completely ineffective on fields where your plants, your crop had grown beyond the first growth stage, and the weeds had grown, and obviously the size of the fields getting completely blanketed in weeds just meant that the weeders being so small in width and also so slow in speed meant it was just a nightmare to deal with weeds. It was far quicker to spray them all the time, whereas at least now Seasons does kind of give you the option. If you've only got like a spot or two on a field, you're going to probably think to yourself, mechanical weeder, it's easy. Whereas obviously if you've got a bigger infestation, you're going to be thinking sprayer. But one of the things I also managed to figure out as well with Seasons, and I found a fix to the issue I had with the wind turbines and windmills on the map. The placeable versions are dependent on the in-game wind speed. In-game wind speed has to be above 3 meters per second and below 20 meters per second for the wind turbines and windmills on a map to actually animate and spin. If you actually see objects on the map already animated and spinning, like the one at the top of field 8, that's an issue with how the mod author, how the map author has actually created the map. He's using his own custom script to create that spinning animation, or to create that wind turbine spinning or the windmill spinning. So for example, on this map, all the objects that spin and rotate, Stevie's obviously using his own custom script, custom code, his custom shader type thing, which he also uses on the manure and slurry storage thing to get the manure spinning and rotating. And because of that, because they're custom scripts, obviously Seasons doesn't touch those. Whereas if obviously he'd use the default base game scripts, you know, the stuff that's already built into Giant's editor for making windmills and turbines spin and slurry to spin in pits, using the rotator callback, rotator on create script callback thing, Seasons would affect those as well. So there's going to be things on this map, I warn you now, that are going to look a little bit out of place, because there's going to be things that are spinning and rotating when they shouldn't be, and there's going to be things on this map that don't spin and don't rotate that you think probably should. Can't do anything about that. And right now I'm just going to take away the edges of the fields, because obviously when I put the new edges on, I'm going to want a bit of room to be able to carve a nice new wobbly irregular shaped edge to the field. And at the same time I also want to create a bit of room so that when we're working the fields, we've got room to turn vehicles round, drive off the field, turn vehicles round, drive them back on without running into things or colliding with things. You know, give the AI workers a fighting chance. But yeah, square fields have got to go. I'm at that point now where I'm kind of bored of square fields. I do like working the irregular shaped fields now. I love that you've got to do headlands and you've got to kind of think a little bit about which is going to be the most efficient way to drive up and down the field, so you're not constantly turning and having to turn around and change direction, and you know, you can just get the field done in the most efficient and economic fashion. So these fields definitely lend themselves. There's plenty of area as well where I can actually make, like this field, I can make a lot bigger than it currently is as well. So not only can I make it a nice weird looking shape, I can actually make it even bigger, which is going to give me obviously more yield, because I'm going to be able to get more crop off a bigger field. So it's definitely worth investing in this sort of thing right at the start of seasons. If you're going to do terrain modifications and alterations and you're going to tweak fields and change fields and resize things, definitely do it now at the start of spring, year one, because you've got to plough the fields anyway. So now's your chance to go in and, you know, move all the edges and set your fields up how you want. So I'm going to go around, put a nice bendy edge on this field. I'm just going to move this back a bit to give me a bit more room to turn round when I come sliding back, because obviously I've got to join this all up. And I'll tell you what, I've had some practice doing this the last couple of days, because I've been doing it on the server, the multiplayer server map. On the county lines map, I've gone round and put all new edges on all the fields that we own, because the fields that come on the map are, you know, nice and irregular. There's no square fields on the county lines map. However, for whatever reason, I don't understand why, or I don't understand how the mod author has done it. Whether he did it on purpose or not, I don't know. But every field, the edges of the field look like they've been attacked by a shark or a saw or something, because they're all zigzaggy. You know, they're not a nice smooth edge like I'm creating now. They are really zigzagging, the edges. And I don't know whether that's something to do with how he's painted the fields in the editor, whether he's not used the right shape tool for making fields, or he hasn't used the right radius, or what. I don't know. But that was the only thing I didn't like about the county lines map. The field edges look really horrible. So I've had to go around with the create field tool, allow field creation, and just smooth out the edges where I can. It definitely looks a lot nicer now. And like I say, hopefully this map as well is going to look like nicer once I've kind of finished altering the fields. As I say, I've got plans for the other ones on this bit of land as well. And any of the other new fields that I buy, if they are square shaped, I will probably change those as well. In time, I may even go back and look and see if it's possible to reshape some of the, like, you know, fields 2, maybe field 5. Field 3 is a bit awkward because of where it's sat. But field 5 possibly might be, I might be able to do something on that to change the shape of it a little bit, make it a little bit weirder looking. Field 1, that's going to be hard. I have made field 1 bigger because of how I've got course pay ploughing it at the moment and doing the rounded edges. He is actually kind of offset a bit, so field 1's going to get bigger. That may cause me problems down the road because I'm not sure if there's enough room either side of the field to get vehicles up and down with like trailers and stuff, especially if I've got to go up to field 8 to get like the grass cut and stuff. And for obviously the people wondering, why did I plough field 8 when it was already planted with grass and already starts out as a grass field on the map? The reason I ploughed field 8 was because the map said it needed ploughing, and I don't know if that affects grass yield or not, or whether grass ignores the ploughed, limed, etc. status of a field. I don't know. I've never really tested that. Even after all these hours of playing Farm Sim, I haven't tested how grass reacts to fields which are limed, ploughed, etc. So I just figured the map says the field needs ploughing, I'm going to plough it and I'll plant grass back on it. And with it being planted grass as opposed to wild grass, it should yield more anyway, is my thinking. Or at least that's how it's always been up till now. But again, I don't know if Seasons makes any changes to that. But certainly when I last played on the original Fenton Forest map, seeded grass yielded more than ploughed grass, which is why I seeded grass quite a lot when I was needing to make stuff for my animal pens. Me chickens, me sheeps, me pigs, me cows. Which again is something we'll get into, whether I buy any at the start of year 1 because of how limited we are on starting supplies. Again, if you're going to have cows, you're going to need grass, hay, silage, which, you know, I'm not going to get until a little bit later in the year because of the mowing, the way the grass mows. You can't mow grass in spring with Seasons. Only summer, autumn, and apparently winter if it's dry. If it's not snowing, you can harvest grass, but you can't do it in spring. Obviously, we're not going to have any straw until harvest season, until we've harvested either wheat, oat or barley. So we're not going to have any straw to give to cows or to make into TMR until the autumn. So there's no point in getting cows until later in the year. Pigs, again, I'm going to need a lot of crops to make pig food, including root crops, potatoes, sugar beets and stuff. So again, realistically, there's no point in me buying them now at this point in spring because I can't feed them. We do have a little bit of wheat and barley in the starting silo though, so I could add chickens. But if I've learnt anything from the county lines map, the chickens take forever to make any eggs. They take forever. Literally, you know, we got like half a pallet or 3/4 of a pallet after one whole year. You know, I was kind of hoping I'd have like 4 pallets of eggs by the end of the year to be able to take and sell. Not just, you know, barely 1 pallet. And, you know, the chicken coop was fairly full of chickens on that map. We had room for 400 and we've got 320 now. So, it's a bit weird that chickens don't make a lot of eggs with seasons. You're not going to get rich off chickens. Plus, the way the animals breed with seasons is weird because you get a lot of male chickens being born, which are completely useless to you because they don't obviously then lay eggs. So you have to keep going in the chicken pen and clearing out all the male chickens, which are not to be confused with roosters. Roosters are completely separate from the male chickens and the other male and the male animals. So that's something that obviously I'll explain more when we get into it on this map. But right now, I'm ploughing this new edge on field. I can't even remember what number it is. I've forgotten. Because I'm actually recording this commentary after I recorded the video. Because for some weird reason, and I don't know why it was, on the original video, the original recording, the original microphone channel, the channel with my microphone commentary and my lovely voice, it had an echo. Or not so much an echo, it seemed to have two. Basically, it sounds like my voice was being recorded by 2 separate microphones which were being placed onto the same track, just a little bit out of sync with one another. And I've got a sneaky feeling what happened was, whilst I was recording, or between me recording a video earlier today and me recording this video this afternoon, I kind of pulled. I got up to leave my desk at one point and caught my foot on the cable for my headset, my Razer headset, and I pulled it. And I must have pulled it out the computer a little bit because Windows did that thing where it goes do-do-do-do, like letting you know you've plugged something in or unplugged something. And I've got a feeling what happened was that the microphone in my headset, my Razer headset, and it's done it now actually. I've just looked over to my left and my Razer headset, the microphone has turned on my headset. So I've got a sneaky feeling that's what happened this afternoon. And for some very weird reason, in my voice meter potato audio mixing software deck platform thingy that I have on my computer, which I use to control all my audio inputs and outputs, the desk microphone that I use for recording outputs to channel B1, and for some reason my Razer headset microphone was also outputting to that same channel, which is why I think I got the little bit of an overlap in the audio stream and why I got the echo. So I'm having to record this commentary again. I can't remember all the brilliant, insightful and wonderful things that I talked about as I was recording this video, so I'm kind of making this all up on the fly. I kind of remembered the gist of things that I talked about, hence the ploughing, the field states, the fertilising, the weeds. You know, I kind of remember to go over all that, retread all that ground again and go back down that path. But other than that, I'm just winging it. I'm just winging the commentary now. I'm just trying to get to the end of the video. Remember to do me outros and everything as well. You know, remember to like the video. Remember to leave your thumbs up, not your thumbs down. You know, please leave your comments, your questions, your suggestions, your feedback. Anything you want to say and tell me about the game, feel free to post it in the comment section down below. Obviously, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. That really helps me out, and it helps you out, because that way you get to know every time I post one of these amazing videos, so you can click on it and watch it. You know, so you never have to miss a minute of my great gameplay and my wonderful Let's Plays if you subscribe, because you'll always be notified when a new video goes live. Of course, you're also free to head over to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv, see where you can see me many times, many times, live streaming games like Farming Sim 19, where I'm playing, obviously, multiplayer with other people. And if you're interested in playing with me, again, tune into the live streams, because that's when you get all the information regarding how to become part of my multiplayer servers and become a player. It does involve joining my Discord channel. A link for that is in the description of this video, or should be, if I've remembered to include it. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it all. I've remembered to include that in the video, not right at the end like I normally do. But we'll take the beautiful, wonderful, awesome Fenton Tri-6, which of course is my absolute all-time favourite vehicle mod now in FS19. This is definitely my favourite vehicle that anyone's made and brought out for the game so far. It's an awesome bit of kit. Awesome bit of kit. The only thing I would say that I do find a little bit odd with it, and you may notice it especially in this camera view as I'm driving along, or you will probably see it as I'm driving along, is that whenever you hook up to any trailers or attachments or anything, you may notice that it doesn't look like the trailer's actually securely fastened and linked on the back of the Tri-6. And certainly as you sort of weave about and zigzag about and stuff, it's definitely noticeable that that's not quite clipped and attached on the back. I mean, it doesn't affect the functionality. Everything still functions right and works right and, you know, performs as it should. It's just a little bit weird to see that trailers and stuff don't actually seem to be properly fastened on the back of it. It's almost as if the attacher function on the back of the tractor hasn't quite been configured properly in the mod. But like I say, apart from that, it's such a beautiful machine. It's got power, it's got speed, you know, it's got durability and versatility. It's got, you know, 3-point hitch, 3-point links on front and back, so you can run all the tools and equipment you want with it. And like I say, if you don't like the tracked tractors or the articulated tractors, this is a good alternative. I mean, certainly it gives the Big Bud 747 a run in power. At 1500 horsepower, this thing is a beast, with a top speed of 52 miles an hour, so it leaves the Big Bud standing in a race. Like I say, I love it. Love this mod. Right, I'm going to hop out for a bit. I'm going to leave him to do his bit. I'm going to head back over, carry on ploughing around this field. Like I say, I'll carry on doing this and trying to get as much done as I can. And I will hope to see you all again in the next video, which will be day 2 of spring when I return. We'll be returning in day 2 of spring, so there'll be day 2 of spring. There'll be some ploughing to finish off, no doubt. We're not going to get it all done today. We probably won't even get this field finished today. And then, as I say, day 2 of spring, we'll be looking at doing the lime spreading, fertilising, getting that started, getting that done. Then once we transition over into like the mid part of spring, no, we won't transition to mid-spring, will we? because I'm running 9-day season, so day 3 will still be early spring. Might be able to take it a bit more relaxed then, actually, or increase the timescale quite considerably to see how we get through the time. May even look at the animals then, possibly day 3 of spring. Chickens, get some chickens in. As I say, I have got wheat and barley. But then obviously mid-spring, as soon as we hit the mid-spring, I want to start getting seed down if I can. Or what? No, because after we've limed and fertilised, I've got to cultivate. That's it. Got to cultivate first, then seed. So that's why we need the day 2 and day 3 of spring to get all the liming, fertilising, and cultivating done. Then we'll be ready for seeding mid-spring. Okay, everyone. I've been CYDESO. Goodbye for now.